Hello, I'm Ollie, and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, horror and some trash too. So it's a gloriously sunny Saturday morning here on the south coast of the UK as I'm filming this. The sun is shining. It's a little bit windy, and the forecast seems to suggest it's going to cloud over later on and tomorrow. I'm going to, as soon as I finish this, I'm going to get out in the garden, mow the lawns, and then sit down and read a book and enjoy the sunshine while it lasts. I hope the weather is similarly pleasant where you are. Normal format for this, so I'll talk about what I've been reading in the last week. And then talk about what I'm going to read in the week ahead, and also talk about some channel stuff, so what's been on the channel, what's coming up on the channel. Also, very quickly wanted to reflect on, so it's if you're in the UK, you will know. If you're not in the UK, you may not know. So it's a celebratory week coming up in the UK. So the Queen celebrates her Platinum Jubilee next weekend, I think it is, celebrating 70 years on the throne. So she'll be the longest, well, she is already the longest serving British monarch, which is 70 years seems a crazy amount of time, doesn't it? So, clearly she's been Queen for the whole time I've been alive, and for most of the time my parents have been alive as well. So we've got extra bank holidays at the end of the week, so no work Thursday or Friday of this week, so it'll be a celebratory long weekend. Right, anyway, enough about royalty. I don't want to upset any people who are not royalists, and I'm kind of on the fence, I guess. I could go either way. Sometimes I quite enjoy the royals, sometimes not so much. Right, let's talk about what I've been reading then. So week 4, so this was week 4 of Horror Mayhem, the horror reading event organised by the Brookish branch, which I'm one of the hosts. So this was the folk horror week. So I have read 3 things for that, which are, I think one of them's definitely folk horror, the other 2 probably folk horror, but maybe not. So the first thing was The Great God Pan by Arthur Machen, which is, I think you could also call it cosmic horror, to be honest with you, but it was fantastic. So a very old story, clearly, but one I had never read, and just genuinely chilling. So about I don't know how to explain what it's about without spoiling it. It's about a guy kind of investigating, but loosely investigating, trying to put together the pieces of a number of strange occurrences that have happened that seem to be related to this one woman, basically. But it was fantastic, really gripping, and like genuinely chilling at the end. So yeah, very much enjoyed that and glad to have read it. After that, I read Off Season by Jack Ketchum. So one, Plagued by Visions, very kindly some time ago sent me this first edition paperback from Ballantine Books. I subsequently, because one did advise me when he sent me this, that this is the original edition, which was quite heavily censored by the publisher, because they got a bit nervous about what was in it. So I've also picked up this Leisure Books edition, which is the full, uncut Jack Ketchum approved edition. So this is the one that I read, and there's a really good kind of afterword by Ketchum at the end of it, where he talks about the process of having got this edition published, which was his first published work, and how the publisher gradually took more and more of the book out. This was fantastic. I mean, obviously it's quite well known. It is an incredibly grueling book. So it's one of those rural urban like clash books about a group of cannibals in rural Maine who attack some city folk who are staying in a cabin there, and it's just builds up and builds up and builds up as it goes to this incredibly horrific and violent climax. So yeah, really grueling stuff. Very, very enjoyable. I liked it a lot. I then also, for Horror Mayhem, read this, A Solemn, Curfew and Other Dark Tales by Bev Allen, which was very kindly sent to me by Dave Brzezinski, who's one of the publishers at Cathaven Press. So this was really, really good. So it's a collection of short stories. I'm not sure. So written between, looks like the oldest one in here is probably from 2014. I think I'm trying to quickly count them. There's about 8 stories in here. They're really, really good. So a variety of different a variety of different settings and things like that. So some of them are set in the modern day. A number of them are set in at some point in the past, kind of medieval sort of feeling stories, but all with a real sense of a connection to kind of the British countryside and things like that, and to kind of elements of magic and things. Just a really lovely collection of different stories. None of them I would say kind of out and out chilling, but all with a nicely dark, macabre feel to them. Reminding me somewhat of, some of them reminded me a bit of Roald Dahl's short stories, and some of them reminded me of Angela Carter. So that kind of I almost want to say gentle horror, but that almost sounds like criticism, and it's not supposed to be at all, but just really, really enjoyable dark stories. And I have to say, Bev Allen's prose is fantastic. I really, really enjoyed her actual writing, which is something that often in books I almost don't notice. I'm quite a fan of the kind of prose that just sinks into your brain and you don't notice at all. But I noticed this prose, but in a really good way. I think she's got a lovely way with words. So I really enjoyed this and I thoroughly recommend it. I will put a link to places you can buy this and the other books I talk about today in the description for the video, and those will be affiliate links, which means you pay normal price for the book, but I get a little bit of commission should you buy it using that link. So aside from that, I've also been continuing my buddy read of Moondance by S.P. Somtow with MJ from Reading This Life. So this has been a thoroughly pleasurable experience. So as you can see, I'm a bit over halfway through. I'm not used to doing buddy reads in the way I'm doing this one, which is reading a long section of the book and then stopping and reading something else. Normally when I do buddy reads, I just read the whole book the whole way through, which I think frustrates people I buddy read with. So I'm trying to do it properly this time around, and I am enjoying it, but I definitely would say my preference is to read books all the way through. But yes, so I think I will finish this in the week ahead is my intention. I'd like to get it wrapped up in May, but it's as I said in last week's video, it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. After that, then not after that actually, because I read this during the week, so before I read the Bev Allen book. But yes, also read 79 Park Avenue by Harold Robbins, which is a trash classic. So I've done a review of this, which will be going up next week. But yeah, really, really enjoyable. So written in the 50s, a book about prostitution, and particularly about this woman who falls into that life. And about the relationships she has with other people, particularly men, and it's all framed around a trial. So most of the story is told in flashback, and tells you the story of her life, how she came to be on trial for running a house of ill repute. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's just really fun. It's quite very melodramatic at times, but in a really enjoyable way. I thought it was great, and I'm looking forward to reading more Harold Robbins. So that's what I have read. So less books than often I have read in a week. It's been a quieter week. I'm not sure why that is. I think I've been a bit busier at work, and also my wife and I have been continuing to watch Game of Thrones, which I did mention in a previous video, but we were nearing the end, so we kind of ramped up our viewing rate, so we actually finished it last night, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed the whole series. I know that the end, certainly looking on IMDb, like the final season and the last 2 episodes in particular seem to get really low ratings, but I thought it wrapped itself up pretty nicely. I didn't think it was an amazing ending, but it was kind of, I thought it was a fitting ending for the series. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So what am I reading now? So I'm now reading this Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin, which is really good so far. So I'm nearly a quarter of the way through. It's fantastic. So it's what do they call it? A gender apocalypse story. So one of those stories where something has happened that has affected all of In this case, all of the men in the world. So all of the men in the world have become these kind of rabid, sex-crazed monsters who just roam around trying to find things to eat or screw. And all of the women are, trying to defend themselves against that. And the thing that often gets missed in books like this. So I've read a couple of them. So I've read Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King, which I didn't like at all. And I've read one, the name of which now completely escapes me, which is by Lauren Bukes, which I did enjoy. But what often gets missed in those stories is what is the experience of trans people during an event like that. So this one is, very focused on that, and it's fascinating from that perspective. So a very interesting examination of what it's like to be a trans person. Both trans women and trans men feature in the book, but it's also just a blisteringly enjoyable, exciting, gripping horror novel. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it so far. Other things I'm going to read in the week ahead then. So as I said, I'm going to try and finish Moondance. And apart from that, I've got a bit of an open book, shall we say. So as I've said, I'm trying not to set rigid TBRs anymore. As you can see from the piles around me, I have picked up an absolute ton of books recently. So I've got some definite trash books here, like this one, which came yesterday, The Gynecologist, which is is it 60s or 70s? I think it's 60s, or maybe early 70s. 1970, yeah, a 1970 British novel about a gynecologist, which looks very trashy. So I might read some trash. I also picked up these Mills and Boon, a few Mills and Boon medical romances the other day as well. So I might read some trash, but I think I'm also going to read something a bit classier. So I got, as I showed in a book haul video a while ago, I got a load of Library of America books for my birthday, so I think I'm probably going to read one of those. I haven't decided which one yet. And then obviously coming up this coming week, June on the Range starts, the Western reading event created by Michael K. Vaughan. So I have a stack of Westerns to read as well. So I'm going to do a TBR, well, not TBR, not to be read, maybe read, an MBR video for June on the Range, and talk you through all the Westerns I've got on my shelves to read. But I'll definitely be reading a Western of some sort in the weekend as well. So channel stuff then. So in case you missed it, in the last week or so, I've put up a bunch of videos, so more than normal actually. So I did a review of You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric LaRocca, which is a book I really enjoyed. I did the Thrilling Thrillers tag, which was a lot of fun. I did another review, so I also did a review of Hollywood Wives by Jackie Collins. So this is a new feature on the channel. So I'm doing a Countdown to Garb August series, where over the next 10 weeks I'm going to do a review each week of a trashy book. So this week just coming will be 79 Park Avenue by Harold Robbins. I did a book haul video with a load of romance books in it, which was quite fun. And I also did a review, so like a double header review of The Horror at Red Hook by H.P. Lovecraft, and The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Laval. Yesterday I did a 10 short horror novels that really had an impact on me video, which was quite interesting to do, so it's quite fun to come up with that list. And then my Sunday Bollocks last Sunday was a What is Trash kind of primer in preparation for Garb August. So in the week ahead, as I said, I'm doing a review of 79 Park Avenue. I'm going to do a horror review, but I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Might be The MD by Thomas M. Dish. It might be Manhunt. Might be something else. I'm going to do a library tour video, so I'm going to get some more books down from the attic and go through those. I've got the Let's Get Outside with Books tag to do, so that'll be going up on Tuesday. And then Sunday Bollocks tomorrow, I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do another video on trash. So I had some really interesting comments and some video responses as well to my What is Trash video last week, which highlighted a few gaps in it, which I definitely want to address. So I think that's what tomorrow's Sunday Bollocks video is going to be, is another trash video with some additional thoughts on trash. So that's kind of the week ahead. Oh, and also on Monday, I will be drawing the winner of my 1500 subs giveaway, where you could win either of these 2 books. So entries are closed now, I'm afraid. But I will be announcing the winner on Monday of these 2 books. So yes, that's me. That's what my reading week has been like. Let me know what you've been reading, and if you've read any of the things I've talked about. But as always, I hope you're safe and well. I hope the weather is fine where you are and you're enjoying a bit of sunshine. I hope you're reading good stuff, and I will speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.